Have you ever been on an international flight? Would you like to? The destination is satisfaction. Climb aboard the Seduction 747 and we'll be leaving soon. Here we are, 1999's epic finale, International Lover. The song where Prince takes his vocal performance to the next level. He exhibits complete mastery of his vocal range on this track. From bass all the way to falsetto to ear-piercing screams, he does it all. And he does it all for the first time in a single song. It was such an impressive performance that it earned Prince one of his very first 2 Grammy nominations in 1984. This one for International Lover was a nomination for Best Male R&B Performance. He ultimately lost that year to MJ's Billie Jean, an iconic song in its own right. But if you ask me, Prince deserved to win that one. For this song, Prince again puts on his lover-man persona. A persona that is super confident, seductive. A persona that he similarly tapped into for Do Me Baby on Controversy. But that track was sung more in a passive voice. Here, on International Lover, Prince sings the song as more of the seducer, not the seducee. That's the key difference in my mind when I listen to these 2 songs. He wants to do you. He doesn't want you to do him. There's only one particular line in this song that can even be remotely construed as tentative. The line, "Am I qualified?" That's a fairly rhetorical question because we all know Prince is qualified. With his tongue firmly planted in his cheek, Prince refers to sex throughout the song as an international flight. Sex as air travel metaphors completely fill the entire track length. And of course, Prince acts as the captain and pilot of the Seduction 747. The first line in the song is, "May I have this dance?" It's a very gentlemanly approach to this song. May I have this dance? I think at this point most of us have heard that dance is considered foreplay for sex. So the fact that he refers to in the first line, "May I have this dance?" we all know what he's really getting at. This is the foreplay section of the song. And the way this song is sung, I'm not going to be able to do the lyrics justice because the song is all about presentation. The lyrics to International Lover are very silly at times, and as I mentioned, very tongue-in-cheek, but also very seductive. And the way the song is presented is what lends it to be such a memorable song. "Darling, it appears to me that you could use a date tonight. A body that'll do you right. Tell me, am I qualified?" He's approached the object of his affection at this point in the song. He's being maybe a tad presumptuous in assuming that she could use a date. And not just any date, a sex date. A body that'll do you right. So he's very confident that he has what it takes. But he needs a little bit of confirmation from her first. This is her chance to provide consent. Am I qualified? A yes answer is consent. Because he's already laid it out. You could use a date. A body that will do you right. You don't mention your body if your date is going to involve hand-holding, long walks on the beach, a candlelight dinner, and a peck on the cheek goodbye. Baby, I know it's hard to believe, but this body here is free tonight. Your very own first-class flight. My plane's parked right outside, baby. Don't you want to go for a ride? The first line in this section of the first verse is, I know it's hard to believe, but this body here is free tonight. And this is the first, I feel like this is the first instance where you get that Prince is playing around a bit in this song. Women like confidence. I feel like that's pretty well established. But there's a fine line between confident and cocky, confident and conceited. And this line straddles that. And it dips its toes into the cocky and conceited side of the fence. Hard to believe, but this body here is free tonight. If his body is so sought after, why is he free tonight? So apparently there's been a last-minute cancellation or no-show. And now this woman is the lucky person on the standby list that gets to be added to this flight. It's her very own first-class flight. So not only does she just get to get on the plane, she's been upgraded to first class. And she's the only one on board. No Uber or taxi or airport parking is needed. The plane's right outside. Let's go for a ride. I'm an international lover. Yeah, that's right. Let me take you around the world. I'll buy you diamonds and pearls. Only if you're a good girl. So Prince doesn't say, I'm going to take you on an international flight. He is an international lover. I'm an international lover. He's going to take her around the world. And around the world could mean literally around the world. Although at this point in his career, I doubt that Prince owned his own plane. That he could commandeer a plane that could fly around the world just for him and his special lady friend. So my guess is this is more of taking her around the world in a figurative sense, showing her everything that he can do. The reference to diamonds and pearls here will become relevant again 9 years later upon the release of the Diamonds and Pearls LP in 1991. Darling, I know it's been a long time since you've been satisfied. I could tell by the look in your eyes. You need it real bad. You need it so bad, so bad. I don't know exactly what she said to him at this point in the song, or what led him to believe that she was so desperate for a satisfying and pleasurable sexual encounter. But this is the second time that he's mentioned that he can just tell. He just knows. Maybe that's part of being an international lover, is you can read people's minds. You can read women's thoughts. You can see it on their face, their actions. Even if she's had encounters in the recent past, none of them were satisfying. None of them would have pleased her in the way that she deserves to be pleased. Her eyes tell him everything he needs to know. She needs it real bad. Maybe if you're a good girl, I'll introduce you to my ride. Don't you want to come inside? Come on, baby, I won't fly too fast. I've got so much class. The printed lyrics indicate that's what he says here, but at this point, Prince lets loose one of his patented epic screams, where the lyric, I've got so much class, the much class part is virtually lost on the listener. The lyrics that came with the album, 1999, indicate that's what he says here, so we're going to go with that. Once again, he implies that she needs to be a good girl in order to get this ride. Good in what way? I don't know. He doesn't say. And the fact that he won't fly too fast, I think we can probably assume that he means that he will make sure that the ride lasts long enough to please her. Let's put it that way. It also could possibly mean that telling her that he'll take it slow as she needs it to be. Some guys are so eager to get their rocks off that they just move too quickly past the foreplay portion of the lovemaking session. They want to get to the good stuff, so to speak. But he's not about that. He's got too much class for that. Because he's an international lover. That's right, baby. Let me take you around the world. I'll buy you diamonds and pearls. Diamonds and pearls, baby. Only if you're good, girl. Gotta be good. You gotta be good. Yeah. Please. Pleading. Please be good. I want you to be good because I want to fuck you. I want to make love to you. I want to take you around the world. Now at this point in the song, Prince begins his spoken word section. First couple of verses and chorus he's sang in falsetto, he's sang in his normal register, he's gone down to a deep bass, got a couple of really primal screams in there, but now you just hear Prince speaking, imagining him as the pilot speaking to the passengers over the loudspeaker. Good evening, this is your pilot Prince speaking. You are flying aboard the Seduction 747, and this plane is fully equipped with anything your body desires. It's a good sign. If I was on this plane, I would like to think that I was in good hands. The pilot seems to know what he's doing, seems to have a firm grasp on female sexuality. Up to this point, I have no doubts, right? If for any reason there's a loss in cabin pressure, I will automatically drop down to apply more. To activate the flow of excitement, extinguish all clothing materials and pull my body close to yours. Place my lips over your mouth and kiss, normally. This section is certainly where the metaphors for air travel and sex get amped up. He's been alluding to his Seduction 747 airplane. He's an international lover. He's a pilot, fully equipped, talking about losing cabin pressure, extinguish all clothing materials. Yeah, it's time to lose the clothes. If she wants that flow of excitement, she's going to need to extinguish her clothing materials. And the fact that he adds the word normally at the end, very quietly, but he adds it, when he tells her he's going to kiss her by placing his lips over her mouth. That's usually how two people kiss. So maybe that's what he means, normally. The traditional way of kissing. In the event there is overexcitement, your seat cushion may be used as a flotation device. We ask that you please observe the no letting go sign. I anticipate a few turbulence along the way. Well, if he likes women with a certain amount of padding in the rear end, I think the seat cushion line is referring to the female's backside, I would say. But he asks her to observe the no letting go sign. So as they hold each other, kissing, I imagine at this point his hands are on her behind, and I'm not sure where her hands are, but they need to be holding on to him somewhere. He doesn't want her to let go. As the ride gets bumpier, they're both going to need to have something to hold on to. We are now making our final approach to satisfaction. Please bring your lips, your arms, your hips into the upped and locked position for landing. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Yeah. They've arrived. They've arrived. This international flight has reached satisfaction. Now it's time to come in for the landing. And I think the landing can certainly be considered orgasm. I mean, they're reaching satisfaction. I mean, that is the goal for many who engage in sexual intercourse, is orgasm. Satisfaction certainly would be a word used to describe reaching orgasm. And when he asks her, "Can you feel it? Can you feel it?" he wants to make sure that she's getting there at the same time he gets there, so they can land together in the smoothest way possible. "Let me take it around, let it all hang out." 2 lines that he says very kind of quietly in the background. They're not up front. A number of yas are being said at this point. Words maybe are difficult to come by during this orgasmic period of the flight. It's difficult to formulate actual words, so noises, grunts, moans, the repeating of the word "yeah" implies satisfaction has been achieved. Welcome to satisfaction. Confirmed. Please remain awake until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. Thank you for flying Prince International. Remember, next time you fly the International Lover. Fade out. Please remain awake. I like that line because, especially if you're having sex in the evening, it's easy to take that relaxing feeling that you've just had and segue that into a restful sleep. Your body's relaxed. But he doesn't want her to fall asleep quite yet. The ride hasn't come to a complete stop yet, so there's a need to stay awake for maybe whatever it is that still needs to be accomplished. You have to, in order to experience the entire thing, to properly experience the entire ride, you need to be awake from beginning to end. Plus, he wants to thank her. Thank her for trusting him on this flight. For some people, air travel can be a very nerve-wracking experience. Some people need to take medication in order to get through a flight. Too much anxiety, too much fear. So Prince is thanking his passenger for flying Prince International, for trusting him to take her to the destination. And he wants her to remember. He wants her to remember how enjoyable the flight was. It lasted just the right amount of time. There may have been a little turbulence, but that's to be expected on a flight of this nature. It's almost like Prince is sending one of those "how did we do" courtesy emails after the flight. How did you enjoy the flight? Please take this short survey and let us know how we did. We welcome your feedback. Were you satisfied? If you were, please consider Prince International for your next flight. The International Lover will be waiting for you and happy to serve whatever your heart desires. So that concludes the 1999 album. It begins with a bang, literally, and ends a very calming and relaxing note. As the listener, Prince is asking us if we've reached satisfaction by listening to his previous 11 tracks. Were we satisfied with the ride that he took us on throughout this album? This song may have originally been written for Morris Day's vocal stylings on the Time's second album, but Prince took it back, and it is a very fitting ending to this album. You've been on quite the journey, but International Lover is the track that really kind of ties it all together. There's been a lot of themes of sex and love on this record, and Prince lets his humor show through. International Lover is a bit silly, but it's meant to be very sexy and very seductive. And if you can get past the metaphors, I think that you will find International Lover to be one of Prince's best ballads. The style of the over-exaggerated seductor has been done by many others after Prince. This was kind of, I feel like, at least a modern template for the 80s. And nobody can quite do it this way, but people have tried. I hope this has been an enjoyable ride for you, as it has been for me. I've been your host, Jason Brenninger. This is the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics Podcast. You can get a hold of me on Twitter and Instagram at PressRewind75. I also have a podcast page on Facebook, Press Rewind Prince Lyrics Podcast, and until next time.